Here, it is my honor to officially welcome you to this discussion. I am always pleased and honored to be a part of gatherings of the speakers that truly stimulate our thinking, that allow us to discuss in a constructive, safe way the issues that we see happening in our community and in our country, and figure out how we could possibly solve the problems that we have. We each have the capacity to do something about it. And this is what this space is offering us today. We have quite a panel, and each person will get the opportunity to tell us a bit more of their area of focus. So please sit back, relax, be ready to absorb like a sponge all that we are going to share this evening. And we look forward to the rich discussion that will happen after. With that, I say welcome, welcome, welcome.
Center. Good evening, everyone. Marvin. I started Dangriga on YouTube about a year ago as I was thinking to myself, what can I do as an individual to make sure that the generation that comes after me doesn't grapple with the same struggles that I am grappling with today? What can I do so that the generations coming after me will have a more transparent government, so to speak? Now, each and every one of us have our own struggles in our day-to-day lives. We struggle in our households. We struggle in our homes, brothers, sisters. We struggle as Creole. We struggle as Garifuna. We struggle as Mayas, East Indian. We all struggle in some way, shape, or form. Some of us in many ways than others. I gave an analogy during my interview with Open Your Eyes last week. An analogy of a faucet, a pipe, while I was growing up. This is a true story. We all have a faucet in our yard, I'm guessing. And we had a faucet that kept dripping. You've heard this story before. I'll give you a little bit an extended version to it. But this faucet kept dripping, and we use it every day. We never bothered to change the pipe head. What we did instead, we get a vice grip or any other tool that would do similar to what a vice grip could do. And we keep tightening, tightening, tightening that facet. And the more we tighten it, it keeps dripping and it drip harder. And you wouldn't believe, or you might if you're looking at that regard, that we would even get a shirt or a cloth or something and and tie. Yes? Anybody experience this? Okay, good. That was one of my experiences, many experiences, right? Now, I mentioned that I'm not quite sure why that was not addressed, why we didn't replace the faucet. I did mention, maybe my man never have the extra funds to buy to replace that faucet. Maybe our boys in the home, girls too, were just lazy or just decided that someday, you know what, Mawa get up and fix that till we, right? But it never happened. We kept getting this adjustable, keep tightening, and the more we tighten, the threading keep wear out, till you can't tighten it no more. And wherever that is, if it's pouring or if it's too tight, then that's that, right? We didn't change the facet. We didn't change the pipe head. I call that complacency. It is complacency. And similar to what we experience every day as we live here in Dangriga, Belize City, Belmopan, wherever we live, we see our fellow brothers and sisters allowing the same old to happen each and every day. And I want to make it clear that today, personally for me, it's not about the UDP, it is not about the PUP. I actually intended to change my shirt, but things get to back that I have to probably just stick to the red for now. Um, it's about community. It's about getting out of that spirit, that attitude of complacency. That when we see something that's bothering us, bothering our sisters, our brothers, we sit down and we do absolutely nothing about it. We all have our reasons why we do nothing. Maybe the leader is our friend. Maybe he or she grants us favors from time to time. So that might rob us from getting favors in the future. So it's better for our neighbor to suffer or our neighbors to suffer instead of standing firm and sticking with justice. Now, I want to ask a question. I jot down some notes here because I can't remember everything I want to talk about. How many of you close your doors, lock your doors at night before you go to sleep? Everybody, pretty much. We every day leave the doors to our communities open every single day. We leave the doors to our communities open. The reason why we lock our doors is to protect what's inside. Yet every day we leave the doors to our communities wide open to exploitation, wide open to neglect, wide open to disrespect, simply because of one attitude, one spirit, the spirit of complacency, expecting that somebody will come and do what needs to be done for us. Take the culture clash at Western dairies. Garifuna women, our mothers, our sisters, our daughters, allegedly they were terminated unfairly. The company denied it. The mayor promised an investigation, and then what? Paper shuffle, promises fail. Complacency means we allow the headlines to die without demanding answers in writing. We cannot let injustice dissolve like sugar in a coffee. Recently, government officials came to consult with us about the 13th Amendment. That was the past Wednesday. How many showed up? About 11. Yesterday, we had a town hall meeting for the mayor and the area representative to share their updates as to what they have been doing, what they've accomplished over the period of their term. I can assure you there were more than 3 times, 4 times the number of attendees here for the consultation meeting. Why is that? The Constitution is the highest law of the land. Once you change it, that's it. There might be a leader more corrupt than the one we already have if he's corrupt, and he will take advantage of that amendment should it pass. Brother Dickie Bradley will share more about the 13th Amendment for us to understand what is at stake here. National development numbers say 2.1%. Sounds good on paper. But what about Dangriga? Our youth are juggling hustles, jobs here and there, seasonal work, and short contracts. Complacency lets them hand us national statistics while we struggle with the local realities. We beat drums, we wear the colors, but we defend, but do we defend our rights? Garifuna culture is more than a festive attraction. It is an economy, it is a legacy, it is a lifetime, a lifeline. When we stay quiet, we allow politicians to reduce us to costume and speeches, while our language, our land, our livelihood slip away. Complacency is a quiet thief of our identity. Now, let me speak plainly. Our political class has perfected the art of lullabies. They sing us to sleep with promises of jobs, scholarships, and development coming soon. They treat us like children, distracting us with a sweet here, with a t-shirt there for election, while the real bread is divided at tables where we are not invited to. These are caretakers of their own ambitions. They thrive when we yarn, when we shrug, when we say, that's just how it is. But here's the truth. Complacency is not just an attitude, it's a choice. We choose complacency. We've chosen to be complacent for decades. We have Jetty, Commerce Bike, which research has shown is the most suitable area for a deep water port. What would happen if we have a port here in Dangriga? Imagine. My brother Jerry Enriquez will tell us more about that. If we remain complacent, Dangriga will remain a tourist brochure, not a thriving town. If we remain complacent, our children will inherit beaches covered in sargassum. If we remain complacent, jobs that pay pennies, and a culture watered down to museum pieces. If we remain complacent, we will continue to be the spectators in our own story. So this evening, I am sounding the alarm. Wake up, Karina Sarahoma. We must wake up. We must kill this spirit, this attitude of complacency. Guard not just your house, but guard your future. Demand receipts, demand timelines, demand justice. The spirit of complacency has overstayed its welcome. It is time we evict it together. Thank you. The order of this symposium, I will briefly introduce each speakers, and then we will start with Mr. Jerry Enriquez going this way. And after the last presenter, after the last speaker, we will then have the opportunity to ask them questions. So without any further ado, I want to welcome my brother, Jerry Enriquez. Give him a round of applause, please.
Thank you, Rabbi. Good afternoon, my it's a pleasure to be here. 7 to 10 minutes to cover everything that I want to cover at the school. So let me get right into it. For those of you, I think many of you know me already, senior TV, fighting the 45. So I want to tell you what this is about and answering questions afterwards. And I'm going to quickly run through why the struggle for electoral justice is very, very important, especially for the southern districts that have long been affected, that have long been um, disadvantaged by abuse by successive political party governments. And if we continue with this, we will continue to find the same results of disadvantages, socioeconomically disadvantages, with opportunities, and all of those things that are being started, but also the rest of the country, even inner cities. So let me go through first the basis of why we must have fairness in our electoral system and why for decades both political parties have resisted creating electoral divisions that are fair and balanced and to ensure that we have fair representation in government. So here, by um, so the Constitution said, whereas the belief does not really that this supreme law is a contract that the people, that the police have with whoever is appointed. So the people is first, whoever is elected to govern or to serve us, they are there. We are hiring them to serve. For some reason, we begin to feel, or the politicians, they must feel that they are the masters and we are the servants. Shut up and keep quiet and do as we are told, just as they do under the that was thought. And we are each responsible to ensure that we go elected representatives accordingly. So the Constitution is the free law. That is the highest law of the land. So that any other law shall be extended of it is consistent with the Constitution is void. No law can break the Constitution. So the question is it optional or binary? Somebody say, well, I feel like obey or others that will break the society. All president all political parties and their leaders, all organizations, individuals, citizens must abide by the Supreme. This is not an optional point for any political party or individual to decide whether or not to abide by the Constitution is the supreme law. With a law, for example, say you can't steal a loaf of bread. You know, usually our country, to hold the poor person, tell them about bread. You have to break the law while they are breaking the law. They have to be aware. So, even when they're breaking, they take up, they swear to the highest their of their belief in a supreme being to say, this is how we elect representatives. And they do swear that I shall bear faith and allegiance to the Constitution and the law, that I will impartially to the best of my ability discharge my duties and operate all departments without fear. They are also clear. So help me God. That is the command. Every time you elect, that is what I say. I swear to God, I will my best to help. And then they continue to break. So this part of the Constitution is what I am trying to rectify in the court system. Section 96. The election and the government shall, after considering the distribution of the population control shall be time by public in such a way that each division which is shall be to and equal number of each electoral division will have equal or near what we have right now is that in areas like many areas of the city is far less than the average number of voters required for the electoral division. And in areas like several areas, like the certain number of afterwards, it is far in some areas it is 65% less than is required. And they're electing representatives to have a request which has 60% more than let us say if you're about 10 or 20 minutes or stop. The legislative will have like 4 and some requests will have between like 13. That is what we're trying to your question. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jennifer Pallis. Citizens will be aware of society when we And following through our ability to learn the need for citizens in the balance through advocacy, capacity building, civic education, social enterprise, transparency, and documented leadership, which is very important. So together, we will speak on two topics, two very topics, youth participation and governance. And we see that within this one, we have some president. We have some president that's leading and producing and access of your responsibility to engage and to participate is very important. Um, you live in a community, you will speak first of all as a municipality. It is not possible for taking a decision because it's up to you to see what are your so X, Y, Z. X, Y, Z. And it is necessary to understand your voice matter because the decisions that the decision makers make impact the lives of the person and impact the lives of the home. Several years ago, I see that introduced that children are not the future, children are the present. And I agree because children, adolescents, who are now, it is important for you to find about these worlds, introduce yourself to friends, let them understand that you have certain needs will happen certain kind of way because you have that right, right? So it's your responsibility to participate civilly. That means that number one is for and so the decisions that we make should be so your state development, right? That is one. It takes me to the governance. What does that mean? That means that the entire system of the structure that is functions with different organizations, since we should operate mandate transparency, right? That means that each and every one of us, like Mr. Ali explained earlier, have the responsibility to be part of their taking responsibility. What we affect the lives that we live, the decisions that we that we are pressing affect the lives that we do. Ultimately, affecting the lives of our children. So we have to ensure vigilant, questions, we stay we connect to our suggestions. We ask to cross these and it is not customary for any the advocacy leadership advocacy power to so power cannot I question it. So even though I see so no question stands together as one piece, it makes a everybody needs to
So, two, two,
Oh,
both, it's both.
in my,
Yeah,
in my hand.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's both of them.
Good afternoon. Great Rambole, Mabuga, and again, Mabuga, say, yay. I bring you greetings from St. Mike Village. One might say, oh, yeah. And it's Dangriga Unlimited. What is she doing here? We talk about Dangriga Unlimited. But whatever happens in Dangriga, whatever happens to our people in the diaspora, happens to me. Whatever happens to Dangriga, happens to St. Mike. Let us number one, and wherever we are, our experiences are similar. And you'll find that all committed, passionate activists, they run to serve wherever they're called to serve. Because it is in sharing our shared experiences, discussing, finding places like this where we can exchange ideas. It is always that we can find solutions. Which brings me to another point that don't ask me because I know that you're thinking. Some people say, I'm not tired, talk, when will the action start? But the action can only come about from dialogue, from exchange of ideas. So we don't get tired of talk. What we might try to do, or what we have to do, what we must do, is take a lot of what we're getting and actively act on finding solutions to our problem. My name is Dangriga. I am from Sydney. I am the director of the Garifuna Institute for Research and Indigenous Understanding. That is a brainchild of the Garifuna Nation, the department that is responsible for educating our people across the diaspora. So the objective is to find, be in touch with our communities, Nicaragua, Honduras, um, America, St. Vincent, and work, do resource sharing, especially training, not only in language and culture, but also for economic sustainability in our communities. Because another thing we all have in common is that wherever we are, we tend to be on the lower end of the economic to in all our communities. So we try to educate ourselves and equip ourselves in ways of doing that. So indeed, I am honored to be here, and I want to thank Brother Ube for finding of value to add to this conversation on telling the truth and demanding change. It is my feeling, and I'm sure you agree with me, that it is time to make changes, as has been asserted too by Brother Enriquez, our sister over here, and Brother Rue. There is a lot of need, a lot of things need to be changed, and we have to start now. Now, I want to talk more about leadership and land rights. While I specialize in cognitive behavior, I'm a cognitive behavior specialist by paper and by profession. I am not a specialist in land rights in paper and experience, but my specialization might be the biggest in the fact that I believe that we must fight for our land in Belize. There was a time when I didn't know, and there was even a time when I didn't know why, because a lot of us do not pay attention. We do not even understand the value of our land. Now, while our brothers and sisters in Honduras are being imprisoned, and not even in Honduras, in other places, especially in Honduras, though, are being imprisoned, fighting for their lands, we here are very, a little bit more careless about it, and we do not hold our leaders accountable for preserving our lands. So I want to talk to the leadership. Talk that leadership is not just about positions. We have to model ways of thinking. So in our villages, for example, the village council chairman is the leader of the pack. In the town council mayor is the leader. Now, these people, their ways of thinking are modeling. Now, they influence how we frame problems. They influence how the community frame their values. They influence how the community prioritize and how we respond to threats. So, for example, on the Placentia Peninsula, we have a lot of opportunities there, but we also have a lot of threats. Now, if we have a leadership uh, in terms of where they do not understand that our land is our life, and that is a quote directly from Miriam Miranda in Honduras. Our land is our life. Without our land, we are not there in a room. Durnabu do not exist outside of, traditionally outside of coastal land. Everybody wants a piece of our coast. Everybody wants our beaches. Now, when our leaders do not understand the value of our land, they do not place themselves in a position to fight for us. They are, most of them, too many of them are easily corruptible. They bargain. They do not see themselves as gatekeepers, safekeepers of our traditional lands. Now, as a result, we are losing a lot of the land. When we speak up, a few of us, remember earlier I told you there was a time when I didn't know why, but when I found out why, and you try to speak up and educate, then the political machinery is put in place to silence you. And there's also the habit where our leaders, because they do not value our identity as Darinago, and it is not so important to them. They do not invest time in the promotion of those things. Not only our lands, even in our culture. Moving away, I'm going to come back to lands, but just for an example. When we promote our culture to tourism, for example, the big hotels, they take the bulk of that money from the people in the villages. They perform and they get a, a very small percentage of what the big hotels make from the performances. Still, the leadership in these communities do not mobilize people to say, listen, let us call the shots. Let us not go there, let them come to us. Leadership do not open their eyes to those extent to lead people into ways of thinking that promote us as an identity. They still always want to bargain, always trying to get a quick dollar, always want to, they're not looking down the road. So I have a very serious concern about that. So the danger for communities is not only the people who are exploiting us. To me, the biggest danger are leaders who will not stand up, and they compromise the integrity of what we should stand for, what the legacy that we hold. They seem to want to bargain that off at any time. So I want to say that one of the reasons from a psychological standpoint that this tend to happen, I take this quote from Ben Bandura, who says that people who do not ordinarily engage in harmful conduct until they have justified to themselves the morality of their action. And I was thinking, because a lot of the people that I know who hold leadership positions, please give me time.
Sure.
They're really good people. But when you see good people getting positions and then they end up making bad decisions, you wonder why. Now, psychologists are saying it's usually because they have taken time to give themselves permission. They have questioned their morality and allowed themselves to go the other way. And once they have made that decision, it is usually because nobody questions it. Brother Cyril alluded to that. No accountability, no financial report, nothing is required from our leaders. I'm not getting no meetings, as a matter of fact. And then they school us because, like I said earlier, you school the community to start thinking like you. You lead your community to start thinking it's okay for me not to report to you. And if you complain, boy, don't worry about that. Come and go drink and leave there. And everything's supposed to be okay. And then we have a community who feels that as long as they're okay with the mayor or the chairman or whoever the leader is, even in small organizations, as long as they're okay and they get their lead bread butter on some side or the other, it doesn't matter about the other brother down the road. So, and that is why we keep electing people who might not necessarily be the best quality people to lead us. We elect people who talk fast and talk smooth and know right to just want your team there because then that's for their turn to eat. And all they're thinking about is what they want. Now we need to start looking for real leaders who are selfless, real leaders who want to serve people, real leaders like Miranda, who got to jail, and the other brothers in Honduras who stand up for our people. After all of this talking, I want to urge me, the rest of you, what can we do? What are some of the things? What are some of the programs? What are some of the meetings? What are some of the reasonings we could do to get people to stop talking and to get people there for wanted way deep down from just today's satisfaction? Our sister said our children, for example, it's not about the future. They are now. Our leadership do not invest in our children. Our children who manage to succeed, it's by the grace of God and you. It's not the system. We do not systematically provide for them. Not as individuals, much less as governable people. So from that perspective then, I want to ask all of us. So let's look for transformative leaders. Let's look for people who could stand scrutiny. Let's look for leaders who have integrity. We need leaders who inspire ways of thinking. We need leaders who are not afraid of others who know a little, not, let me not say better, who are not afraid of leaders with integrity. They're not afraid of other people with integrity. We need leaders who are not afraid of our elders. A lot of our leaders are very young. And so, as an elder myself, I make myself open to them for advice and so on. And they will take it. And then they start that journey. They don't want to make eye contact. And I said earlier, leaders give themselves, they check their own morality first, how they want to raise their and so on. They check that, and then they decide to go outside those parameters to be as corrupted and as unproductive as they're turning out to be. And in my last minute, I'm saying that to say that we do have a few good leaders, and we're not throwing everybody under the bus. But I'm talking about a tendency that we have, and it is time that we could say this to people's face. And not because we're being mean or cruel, but because we are now at a time that we are demanding changes. So when we go to elections, elect leaders, let's not think about the bill we're going to get later on. Let's think about our people. let's not think about how we can move together. Let's think about how we could just uplift our entire generation of Garden people so we could find a better place in the communities that we live. And with that, I say thank you.
I don't say a single young people or young person in the area. If I can leave off.
I know, right? You said we have to both of it.
We all agree we are talk for a few minutes because the topics are very involved. 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment is a proposal to make changes to the Constitution of the league. So I want to say to you that the Constitution of the country is the secular Bible. The only two Bibles in this country and in the world, the real Bible or what we call the Holy Bible and the Constitution. One governs morality, how we live, how we live with one another, and the other one is how we could keep and check on the government, collect the taxes, and doing what we did. But since they're so powerful, they can also do other things. No, the Constitution. Yeah. At the beginning of two-page document which is referred to as the preamble. Most constitutions have a preamble. The United States, I think, they got into 3 or 4 lines. We have 2 pages because when we made the fight for independence from 1950 up until 1981, the people of Belize were consulted. Like my brother said, Uruguay. I pronounce it correct? Uruguay.
You got that?
The people of Belize were consulted about the constitution that they would want when we get our independence. This was done in early 1981, when it became clear that we would get our independence. We only get our independence in 1981 because of some circumstances that were in our favor. Jamaica gets it in 1961, 62. Trinidad, Guyana. All the other Caribbean islands, they get them one long head of wheat. In fact, while we just to get self-government, while we just to get a chance to run, we leave business for our own self, they don't independent for years. We get self-government 1964. In Mama Africa, the cradle of civilization, which today they have 54 countries on that continent, they had to fight against the British, fight against the French, the Portuguese, the Belgians to get their independence. We don't have that experience. Many people died. Many villages burned down. The real people are fighting to get back their country. We were lucky, but lucky in the sense we don't have to kill nobody and nobody had to kill me just to get the land where we live back from the bogus battles. There was no battle, you know. I hardly understand your language, but I open enough to listen that our fathers, the Baymen, Valiant, and Bull, nothing of us out. We walk, we beat, we chant, we. You want to talk about Valiant and Bull? We had 4 slave rebellions in this country. The last one, 1820. 1820. Black people brought here as slaves and brutalized like animals to work for white people. Rebel. Kill white people. Burn down their house. The rebellion got from May all the way into October. Fortunately for us, in the records in England and in Japan, we at least have the name at 2 and 8. The white man I got out there with water, seen up and dead or alive for will and for sharper. There is not a statue. Imagine that. They want to detain me because they said I said on radio, one no possibility because the name Pastor comes from Thomas. Pastor. He's been on the biggest releases. What this the own white people came out that called for mutilating his slaves. You know the mutilation that they done? Cut off the teeth, cut your breast, cut your tongue because you don't want to stop complaining. Took him to court and found him guilty of doing that to his slaves. And we so ignorant and stupid because we got to do a lot of things that a little disheartening that most students are here, but the young generation is busy reading one book called Facebook. Now, it is a proposal by our government to put into the Constitution the Constitution Article 2, which lists out the fundamental rights to anybody that believes protected. If you're looking at the you will see the legislature and I think to visit the in the actual Constitution it says protection of the right to life, protection of your personal liberty, protection of the law, is that you are protection of your right not to be treated inhumanely, protection from slavery, protection of the force of work. They can't arbitrarily from people who are certain rules. They can't interfere with your right to movement. You want to go, yeah, you point if you want. If you don't want to go, nobody can force you to go. That is your fundamental right. Your right not to be discriminated against. Or you can't win with the debate. Not to discriminate against people who's going to. Guess what? Let me read this for you. Because we have a lot of television stations in the country, but all in nonsense. The only good thing is to go over our life classes and good things. I don't want to, it's boring to read, but let us read this for you. Chapter 2, I have a heading, Protection of Fundamental Rights of People. And it says this. Every person in a belief is entitled to their fundamental rights and freedom, which is to say, the right, whatever your race, your place of origin, your political opinion, the Constitution, God, because the red education and God up down there and that. Because the blue education down there and that. Bullshit. When I go here, civil I should go to party. Or which church you go? You're a Muslim? You're a Jehovah? You're an Anglican? I am an Anglican. I go to church. 4 in the morning. If I don't want to buy the same, I tell her one I'm in So, in the Constitution, 18 and Section 19 in the Constitution provides that when there is an emergency, they can restrict some of your rights. because it's an emergency. The Constitution that we born and grew up with as a nation in 1981 says they have to declare that there is a state of emergency before they could do these things. What is a state of emergency? The Constitution said what is a state of emergency in section 18 and 19. It says when there's an earthquake, one hurricane, one big flood, one fire, or insurrection, meaning that the younger generation can't be enough. The younger generation tired of the bullshit, tired of the waste of the money and thief up the money. They want to overthrow the government because the electoral process is a fraud. And let me tell you, one of the biggest fraud up front all the way. Every time, every time they pay people to go vote. The country have 60% poor people. I ain't going to quarrel with nobody who wants them and $300 to go vote. All I tell them is like, try to get back another 300 when they vote over as well. They buy people. This is disgraceful. In 2 months every year, you can transfer. People live the article, they vote in as an election. It's crazy, every year to transfer. Why is that? Why? I see that more we listen to give one address and give one thing. You they live there, you like, okay, find one house. So, fine. Section 18 and Section 19 in the Constitution says when and how and for what reason you declare a state of emergency. And I said nothing going to shoot somebody in a country. I said nothing is somebody not going to shoot somebody. It has to be an emergency. What is an emergency? The Constitution says an emergency is when the situation is of such a nature and so extensive and scale that it endangers the public safety, deprive the community, or a substantial portion of the community of supplies and services essential to your life. You know that belief city when the Chinese can get back and they close, we can't buy a bottle of water. No coffee, no shop in belief city. When I come here this afternoon, I pass through Hudson, got two big monster building like nearly the size of this auditorium. Two, no one, two in Hudson. I know the president school Chinese and just say we support with them from the shop.
Yeah.
My goodness. You think you could wear a Chinese shop? Hey, Miss China lady in shop money 15 cents that are still living. When was it created? All of a sudden they don't understand where they sell. 15 cents.
Yeah.
They don't know anything. The Indians will control the free zone. They don't give one donation to the school. They don't give one thing to the school. They don't give nothing to the singers and the artists and the culture. All them do that get. They don't give. And yes, it's true they work hard, but you can't find 40 people who work hard. So, where the essential things that make us get up every day and could live with life is not available, that is a state of emergency. And if people get trouble and want to tell thief and want them, you go pick them up and carry them to jail without no court. Because you're in an emergency. The judge must have in Miami. No court open. That is an emergency. So my brothers and sisters this afternoon, 18 different times, from 2018 to right now 2025. The two biggest gangs in the country, the blue and the red, when they lay the government, they call a state of emergency. And pick up, and guess what? I have the list of the last among 102 black men and one Spanish. 102 black young boys. They pick up and put in a jail. 30 days, then they extend it to 60. And I think they're not gone at 90. Not talking against you, so brothers and sisters, I'm just telling you the reality. One liar represent 13 of the white kind of court, and the judge say yes. Mr. Liar, you're correct. That is not a state of emergency. The government is wrong to declare a state of emergency. It's not a state of emergency. You've been breaking the law, and they have to pay the $300,000 for violating their constitutional right. They're not making because the law allows that you can go to court when they violate your rights. So easy matter, you carry me at jail, you put me at jail for 60 days, bitch, show me the charge. Show me that you carry me. So a judge so I want to start there. Yes. People have to stand up for their rights. The proposal that they're putting forward is a big dirty plan. Why? Because on the very second thing, they are saying, we have gone and declared state of emergency, and one judge said that yes, we could do it, and another one said no, we can't do it. We don't know where to do so. We report with the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment, right? Many them bring the 13th Amendment to reject that right there. Anything with the 13th Amendment. Except if you get man by the 13th, well, let down. If the man back on the 13th and advise you to follow process, take time to do him. Young Ghana, that girl is here. Oh, no, no, that. Most men are that. You could take it from my dad. So, the start off say, if you want to do this in the car, the court will not show work. No, man. Let me tell you what is the law in this country from way, way back. When a court says something, or you do something, like what Jeremy has been trying to fight it so hard for, you go to the next court and appeal it. They know the way they do appeal. Then they push ahead. Then they push ahead. What is in here? What is in here, King? They want the police to make up a list, and then they will declare a special area. No state of emergency. They can't use that word. The law said what that is. 18 times they use it, and I'll come back to the 18th time. You should have maybe be 13, but and so eager and greedy if you want to do it, and do it 18 times from 2018. Tomorrow Monday, we're going to buy some 18 from way and back way. If nothing else come out of coming here again, the money. He want this law, give them the authority to declare a special area. Let's say the people in Dangriga or St. Bite, just get vexed that every time you look on a white man and somebody else come on a piece of your beach. Every time you turn around the best piece of land gone. Anytime you turn around the land where you got gone. Because those crooked suckers in the Ministry of Lands, they will sell your land if one Chinese want to buy and can't find your file. Over time, because this and go make a job, they hide your file and sell your land. None of the government, no. This is how we did it. This is how we did it. So we land. Politicians, the slimy 1% of people. They will do anything to me and get away with it. And if you all don't stop, they will get to the 13th Amendment. They want to be able to declare any area in this country. Any area in this country, include Dangriga and the whole of Stanquick. If one of the days on the count that some rich man bring a Elon Musk or some kind of blood in the class. So people The proposal is that since they have been, and let me make this point very clear, they have been abusing the constitution of the country, which is very clear. It's clear that you can only declare a state of emergency if the situation is so dread that you can't, you get one half a chicken with a little bit of vinegar. Well, people not cook again, they go buy chicken in Chinese. In Belize City, they can't cook, you know why? The girls and nails so long. The hair is so beautiful. Fat they get here. Here was crazy. Nobody, no, it's a telling of. So that is the proposal. That is the worst part of the proposal. That they want the authorities to pick up people and lock them up. And I want to emphasize to you. I want to make a little emphasis. That's it. I got 2.5 minutes. I want to tell you that the word that you use is that, and they have been lying to us. When you look at page 4 of the proposals, it says that after they pick you up for a period not exceeding 1 month, it may be extended from time to time by the National Assembly. The National Assembly is a fancy word for politicians, you know. You don't get wings and you're going through heaven and then you're a politician. It's a fancy word for a hustler. You can go, the National Assembly can extend it for further periods. So long as I don't more than 12 months every time. They could extend it to extend our period, extend it, so long as it does not exceed 12 months. That is what they're proposing. They're also proposing that they want to have a special court. It will be called a gun court and a gun court. So when they pick up your brother and your picnic and carry them to court, they don't guilty. We are the stupidest nation on the planet. If you're looking at the Guinness Book of Records, I can't tell you which year. If you're looking at Guinness Book of Records, believe it is the only country that turned over the whole judiciary to foreigners. Can you imagine that? We had Michelle Arana. She was the chief justice of the country. They don't want you. The guy black and the guy that got phone. Let's call a spade a spade. Brilliant woman. When she go take exams abroad, she got a master's degree. So get anything that's so high, then I even have. If I'm a wash, I tell you, I'm going to have degree in honors, but then I'm going to use the word honors, but she got it. Take one fire and put it on into reposition. Every judge is foreign. Miss Anthony, one of the she would have been chief justice. She will retire directly and leave us. Then I know how bad it goes. How you could turn over your whole judiciary to foreigners? We're an independent nation, you know. So they want a gun court and a gun court. Anytime your brother and your picnic pick up and go there, jail. Then you don't believe this. Let me just bear with me. Please, I want to read from the Constitution so you could understand something. Section 20 of the Constitution, I believe, says that anyone away. A little reading is helpful. Section 20. If any person alleges that any of the provisions of Section 3 to 19, which are all your fundamental rights in the Constitution, any one of that has been, is being, or is likely to be contravened, you have a right to go to the Supreme Court for justice. That is the highest law of the land. That is so fabulous. Listen to what it is saying. That any of your constitutional rights has been, I mean, it don't happen already. Like with the redistricting, under the election, even though the constituencies are clearly in violation. Any of your constitutional right has been, is being, meaning it happen right now, is being, or is likely to happen. Wow! And I think Donald Trump got that in a his country. So guess what is happening? Total change. Then why we gonna vote? Nobody is fighting that black people have right to go to court when they pick you up and carry you to jail and charge you. That is the proposal. That is my suggestion to you. This is a wicked and chancellor. They don't even wait for the appeal. Wait, no man. They're going to correct. Maybe the judge said, then you hire judge and say, yes, you could call a state of emergency when 4 or 5 people get shot. We will read the law and that and not read, but wait, no man. Where are the hurry from all our people? Let me finally end on this note here. Thank you for the extra time over. I again want 2 minutes more because I traveled from 200 miles out with all kind of junking people on the road. The whole people drink so much rum, I believe. Oh my God, the whole so much rum they drink, I believe. Rum make you till you weak. Rum make you crash on the road and cause accidents and maim and kill people. Rum got lots of money beat their woman. Think they're strong. Oh, can't handle in a bed, but 100 outside of the hall. Where they going, man? People drink rum because they have problems. At the time about the one that we can't handle the rum and get drunk and do food. Not the people that can use social drink. I'm not preaching against rum because I don't drink. A bad thing they go on. From Wednesday night, I believe city, the woman and the drink more than the man. Come on, man. This is a big society. We have to look out for people. Women are the ones that bring children into the world. And of course, I think it's on the audience now. We have to show what to all of them. We could do better than that, people, I believe. So let me end and tell you this. For 2018 up until now. First, let me back up and tell you. In 2008, when government changed from the blue gang to the red gang, there were 9 gangs in this country. I want you to remember this when you go and move later. There used to be 9 gangs in 2008. When UDP left office in 2020, 29 gangs are in this country. I'm going to cause a big fat mouth with a panty.
No, yes.
With a life, yes.
With a life, I can't use the word that I want to use. I will use a Jamaican word. Because they don't know if it costs like we. But since they don't know if it costs like we, they make up their own word. Bombo clad. I love their people, I love their bad thing. They don't stand a chance in they don't stand a chance in the world. 3 million people from a piece of rock with half the size of Belize. When you rich and got it good out there, God be praised, but the majority of them won't struggle. Struggle more than bombo clad. It's a good thing. No, where I said. At the cost of no. So my final point is this, people. Instead of trying to force it that they have the constitutional legal right and lock up people at jail without a charge, without going to any court, you can't turn around and sue them for charge. So instead of doing that, and by the way, ask them, Cyril, ask them, show me a constitution or Trinidad or Guyana or St. Lucia or Bahamas. Show me a constitution where I'm teaching that the government and the police will pick up people and turn them in jail without a charge or go to court. Show me that constitution and I will shut up my mouth. So let me finish on this note. Instead of having us stop around the place to try to fight against this final point, why don't they tell us that there is $10 million for that people? Why don't they tell us there's $20 million to begin to teach people skills, begin to get involved in and make money? We black people have to make money and spend money and be rich like everybody else. Why we don't live like this? It's fully what when we don't pay school problem. I'm here to help the man go. Rotting, bongo clown, how we get like this? My time I must say the turnover in Nigeria, we born and raised poor. We don't never think about no politician go beg for money to buy a book and to pay for light bill. Heck no, see what happened to it. Man, listen, the minister they not come wrong again and up on Wednesday people they wait for them corner they have to stand and want to leave money. I nearly tell civil announce that they give out $50 for the corner the thing tonight, but that can't block wings. I want to thank you very much. The fact that you all come here. I come, I come for one reason. I can support you, Civil way. I can support what you are doing. I am proud of you, man. I wish more people were like that. Our young people have to come out and start to inform and educate. Oh no. Because if you don't know the bullshit, the bumble clock where it want, you not tolerate it. We're not a stupid people. Thank you very much.
Because man,
We have family. Well, everyone here.
I should be big quick rumble way because no that don't.
I in the language of our ancestors and invoke their presence to be here with us in this powerful gathering. It is an honor to share my journey and reflections on what it means to be an active citizen, the kind of person that will do the things that my colleague here is urging us to do. This simply means taking responsibility, not just for ourselves, but for the well-being of our communities. I draw from Nelson Mandela, who said, "What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead." My story begins, and we love stories, so I'm going to tell my story. No, not an Anansi story, none at all. This is a fashionable story. Begins at age 14 when I joined the National Garifuna Council. At that time, I did not fully understand the word advocacy, but I understood love for my culture, for my people, and for justice. Advocacy means speaking up and taking action to make a positive change. For me, it started with holding a Garifuna Mass at my high school, St. Catherine Academy. Just imagine it. A Garifuna Mass, St. Catherine Academy. We're talking about 1991. I was 14 at that time. This was to ensure that Garifuna dwell, Garifuna essence, Garifuna presence could be felt on that campus where we were a minority. To this day, SCA continues to hold that Garifuna Mass annually in November. And when we did it, because I didn't do it alone, it was with other Garinago as well as non-Garinago, we ensured that everybody could learn to say the parts of the Mass, to sing the songs, to dance the dances, everything. And I am proud of that accomplishment. You see, the thing with being an advocate, an active citizen, you set trends and you carve paths where there were none before. As I grew older, That spark of service grew into a flame. After moving to Dangriga in my early 20s, I became active in this community, which caught the attention of the director of the youth department. I got the opportunity then to represent Belize, along with Liron Caetano, at the Commonwealth Youth Summit. This was in 2002. That summit, which brought young people from countries across the world, focused on none other than active citizenship. It confirmed what I already knew was my life purpose: to be a voice for the voiceless and a catalyst for change. Ifa opens the way. That's the meaning of my name. And it affirms that following spiritual guidance, I shall fulfill my purpose as an advocate for change, a beacon of hope, a leader that leads others to leadership. The list of organizations I've been involved with since my teens includes the Dangriga HIV/AIDS Society, the Productive Organization for Women in Action Power, promoting empowerment through awareness for lesbian and bisexual women, PETAL, the Belize History Association, and the Belize National Teachers Union, BNTU. In all of it, I commit passionately to the cause of defending the rights of others and unapologetically seeking to make this world better than I found it. It's not an easy road, as Bojobanton asserts. But through all these experiences, I discovered that active citizenship is not about waiting for leaders to fix things. It is about us, the people, rising to meet the challenges of our time. Audre Lorde once reminded us, your silence will not protect you. To stay silent in the face of injustice is to agree with it. Bob Marley sang, get up, stand up for your rights. These are not just beautiful words, they are calls to action. Sometimes we may feel small, like our contribution doesn't matter. But let me assure you, every action counts. Volunteering at a community event, speaking out at a village or town meeting, mentoring a young person, or even organizing neighbors to clean a park, these are all acts of citizenship. Being active is not always easy, clean, or fashionable. You may just have to get down and dirty, like when my students and I cleaned the beach of all the filth people left there. And many times I clean in front of my yard of all the filth that people left there. I hate doing it, but I must do it because I don't like to live in filth. I am an active citizen. I know that it needs to be done, and therefore I get it done. If I have to call the mayor, I call the mayor 10 times if I have to get things done. Being an active citizen requires courage, being brave and bold to push on when others criticize or try to discourage you, or even intimidate or try to eliminate you. Asata Shakur Ibaratoon once said, nobody in the world, nobody in history has ever gotten their freedom by appealing to the moral sense of the people who oppress them. Let me repeat that one. Nobody in the world, nobody in history has ever gotten their freedom by appealing to the moral sense of the people who oppress them. Change comes when ordinary people demand it, insist on it, and work together for it. No one will feel sorry for you, my people. No one will come and save you. Jesus' days done gone a long time. And they had crucified the ballet. After he done give bread and fish and he healed them and all of that, they still beat the man, crucify the man. God's son, they say. They do that to the man. Know that we are the ones who must save ourselves. And that is what active citizenship means. In my journey, there were challenges, resistance, criticism, even fatigue. But the lesson I learned is that perseverance, the will to keep going, creates change over time. Today, I want to encourage every one of you, do your part. Whether big or small, your contribution matters. Being an active citizen is not reserved for politicians, teachers, or leaders of organizations. It belongs to the fisherman, the vendor, the student, the parent, the taxi driver, the mason, the farmer, everyone who calls this community home. I often raise the concern to taxi drivers. If only they were bold and brave and took the responsibility as active citizens, do you know the government wouldn't be able to raise fuel prices every chance they get if drivers stood up against it, rather than simply pass on the cost to their customers? Taxi drivers are primarily men. Their customers are primarily women. What a powerful partnership, though, that would be if men were bold and brave on causes that impact all of us. Imagine the impact if each of us commits just one act of service a week. Together, we could transform our neighborhoods, uplift our young people, and strengthen the future of our communities. It's not too late, my people. The time to wake up is now. The time to act is now. Let us remember the wisdom of Nelson Mandela. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's inspiring others to move beyond it. You have that power. We all do. Let us rise as active citizens, standing for justice, lifting each other up. All boom, amurno. I for you and you for me. And yes, I use the male language, but understood. I for you and you for me. And leaving behind not just memories of our lives, but legacies of change. Lowell Negro, ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Eva, and thank you, my sister, Dr. Anita, Janelle, Jeremy Guest. We're going to take a short, I wouldn't want to call it break. Miss Marsha Mejia and her group will do a brief performance for us, and then we'll get into the questions.
This one's one that really, I just like.
I think it's government. Yeah, I think it's government.
Sisters, I'm okay.
Are these your kids?
Huh?
Are these kids your kids?
Yes. No, no, not mine. The young lady right there sitting in the front.
That's her kid?
Yes.
Oh, that little young man over there.
I'm not sure. No, 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 that's not.
I met that kid in LA and I saw him your child.
Oh, really?
Man, it means so much of you.
Oh, really? Who knows? You never know. I'm kidding.
That's not your style.
No, 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 no.
I want a picture on this panel.
Yes, man. Where I have to get one.
I have to truly personally thank Martha McGee for thank you. Really appreciate you. Now, this is your time. This is your moment. I hope you've been taking notes. Some of you might have been waiting to ask your questions. We're going to start with Jerry Enriquez. He's going to take a minute or two to give you a brief history and what his take is on Commerce Bike, and then we go straight into the questions. Sam Enriquez.
Thank you very much. Just a minute of that, speakers in the panel, really enjoying your presentation. My recommendation is about 13 amendments for the politicians themselves. Just a quick roll of since I was asking that quickly, because it affects that rate of our decades. I want to tell you why there should have been a port, a natural port, and why there is a natural port in Dangriga, but soon over it has not been effectively utilized for the national development. So there was a study done in 1902 that made this conclusion. A deep water would not be viable north of the sea river. Clear studies have been done, geological studies, and that was the conclusion.
It's a mic as well.
For them. So it said, so let me quickly continue with this. So a natural deep water channel runs right close to the coast at Commerce Bay. It's a natural deep water. It is Belize's best strategic position for a deep water port. And it has the depth
that is capable of accommodating large vessels, including cruise ships, and boosting international trade. So way back in the 1890s, that facility and that resource, that area was recognized as a natural deep-water port. In fact, in the early 1900s, there used to be a port operating there that shipped bananas, citrus, lumber to overseas, to Europe, to the Americas, to the Caribbean, because of its natural setting. So I will skip a lot and then just tell you what is the advantage of Commerce Bight and compare it with Belize City to see why it has the best advantage. Right now, the trestle, the length of the pier at Commerce Bight, with its current length at 400 feet, already reaches a water depth of 24 to 27 feet, just at 400 feet. Compared to Belize City, Belize City needs 6 times that length, approximately 2,500 feet, just to achieve that similar depth. So at 400 feet, you achieve 24 to 27 foot depth. If you build a port in Belize City, you have to extend a pier 6 times length just to reach that depth. And in Belize City, after investing $30 million to build that pier, every so often you have to spend 42 million to keep dredging access for about 15,000 feet long just to reach the pier head in Belize City. So you have to keep dredging and spend $42 million periodically. That you don't even have to do that dredging in Dangriga at 400 at Commerce Bight at 400 feet. Secondly, despite this, the wharf at the port in Belize City, with all the dredging and the current pier, could only accommodate vessels to the limited size of about 300 feet. The larger ships have to dock 5 miles from Belize City. At Commerce Bight, those same ships could come right up to 400 feet. We have that depth, or it will take just a minimum extension to reach deeper waters. Natural depth, no dredging. So compared to Belize City, the port at Commerce Bight would require no dredging. You know, there was even discussion of building a port in Belize City that would require 7.5 million cubic feet of digging up the sea floor just to get the depth. And government was willing to consider that over the natural depth that we have at Commerce Bight.
Right here in Dangriga.
You need to ask why. Why are they continuing to do that? So they would save millions. They would not have to continue to do that dredging. So furthermore, it takes just over half a mile from Commerce Bight to reach waters at 45 feet. Depth of 45 feet, just a little more out to accommodate much larger vessels. Those same large vessels, so half mile, if you extend half mile Commerce Bight, those same vessels that need 5 miles out of Belize City would come and dock right at Commerce Bight. Over and over, our politicians somehow are neglecting that. To see that. Considering the rise in cargo traffic at Belize City, a modernized port at Commerce Bight will save a lot of money, will have significant impact in this whole Dangriga, Stand Creek district area. In fact, this district has the most industries per capita than any other district in the country. Banana, citrus, aquaculture, tourism. In this district alone, yet it remains one of the poorest districts. Ask why? When a port, if it was effectively, efficiently, properly developed, could even facilitate cargo to the Petén area, to southern Mexico, Belize City, and boost the rest of the country. So it could serve as a pivotal hub. I remember a few years ago, Dr. Aranda and myself and a few others in Dangriga were really seriously looking at the port and trying to find investors to develop it. Unfortunately, there was a lot of resistance. And I think I know where the resistance lies. There is a persistent discrimination, I would say almost, I want to use the word racism, against the people of the South by a few city-centric elites. And that same resistance is what we're seeing with having electoral justice in Belize. They prefer to keep their small constituencies. So there's a common thread in all of these things that continue to affect Southern Belize. And that needs to be addressed. And as the leaders say, if we do not seize power and claim our own power, this will not change and will continue to affect future generations over and over. So that they prefer